Hi, my name's Julia Macon. I am the Associate Director of Business and Enterprise. We're really excited to have you here today as part of our virtual open day. For today's presentations, I am joined by colleagues within the business and enterprise who will share with you information on our business, public relations, marketing communication, and accounting and bookkeeping programs. Today, our presenters will be Annie Barry, Swati Dave, Nick Reynolds, Alan Grossbard, and Doug Gourlay. And we're really excited to be able to share across our certificate, diploma, advanced diploma, and associate degree study options for you. Thank you. Before we begin, I'd like to formally acknowledge the people of the Woiwurrung and the Boonwurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin Nation, on whose unceded lands we conduct the business of the university. RMIT University respectively acknowledges the ancestors and elders past and present. RMIT also acknowledges the traditional custodians and the ancestors of the lands and waters across Australia where we conduct our business. Furthermore, I'd just like to reiterate our commitment to reconciliation. RMIT is committed to redefining its relationship in working with this and supporting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander self-determination. The university's goal is to achieve lasting transformation by maturing its values, culture, policy, and structures in a way that embeds a reconciliation in everything we do. In line with the principles of Bunjil, we are changing our ways of knowing, working, and being to support sustainable reconciliation and activate a relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students and communities. And now I'd love to pass on to my colleague Annie Barry, who will talk about our Diploma of Business program. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. Hi, everyone. As Julia just said, my name is Annie Barry, and I'm the Program Manager for the Diploma of Business at RMIT University. And I'm going to talk you through what the Diploma of Business is all about. Next slide. Thank you, Nick. Before we start, we're just going to watch a short video about the Diploma of Business.
So the Diploma of Business offers the student an opportunity to work within various functions of business. It's like a taster to the different things that students may be exposed to within a workplace, things like sustainability, marketing, and areas like that. It also offers them opportunities to enrol into other RMIT bachelor courses and get some exemptions along the way by doing this course. It's a rich and engaging two-day on-campus program, giving the students the flexibility to work and study at the same time.
I'm studying the Diploma of Business because I thought it'd be a great pathway into a further study that I wanted to do. Anyone who's not sure of what they want to do and what to study and stuff, I think the Diploma of Business is great because it gives them, many options into what industry and career they might want to uptake in the future.
At the start of the year, I really wasn't certain where I wanted to go, but I had a vision of doing higher ed, and I said I'd cross that bridge when I get there, and I'm here, and I know exactly where I want to go and how I'm going to get there. RMIT is a great facility. The reason being is more than just a school, it's a community. It provides everything you need for a student to complete your goals and dreams.
RMIT students become well-rounded graduates who are highly sought after by employers. Begin your future with RMIT's Diploma of Business and create a pathway of exciting opportunities.
There you go, just some live takes from some of our students from the Diploma of Business, and they've actually moved on to do further studies, and we're still in contact. So thank you for that. Okay, so the Diploma of Business is designed to build on your existing knowledge, and it's tailored to ensure relevance to contemporary work environments. Some of the subject areas that you'll be studying if you undertake the Diploma of Business include things like how to communicate with internal and external customers, how to develop a sustainable and green business, and how to mitigate some risks that arise as a result of doing business or the work area that you're working in, and to ensure that your business is successful. These are some of the subject areas that you'll be undertaking in the Diploma of Business. We teach subjects such as marketing and social media. We look at emotional intelligence and how to recognise your trigger points and be in control of your emotions, and how to respond to other people's emotions as well. We teach you communication skills, how to manage business resources such as financial or human or technological resources. Along the way, you learn to work in teams and how manage team, team behaviour. We look at customer service, we look at sustainability, and we look at how to manage risk and self-management as well. Okay, so there were the subject areas. My apologies, I forgot to say to Nick, next slide, please, which is done now. So thank you. Yep, we'll move on to the next one. The beauties of presenting live. So as you can see on this slide, there is no HR requirement to get into the Diploma of Business, which is good news, but you do need your Year 12 or VCAL. If you don't have Year 12, we do look at the type of work experience you have had, so a minimum of 6 months work experience, or even a completion of another certificate or diploma that you may have done as well, so they're acceptable intake as well. Thank you, Nick. Next slide, please. So the Diploma of Business is a one-year program. Once you've completed the program, you can apply as a pathway to get into a Bachelor of Business. So, and you do get credit transfers. You're eligible for credit transfers into the Bachelor of Business, and it depends on the electives that you've chosen. You can get up to a year off your Bachelor of Business. Thank you, Nick. Next slide, please. The Diploma of Business also offers a lot of great opportunities to work with industry. We have what's called work integrated learning projects, where our industry connections, such as Audi, or this year we've got Audi, we've got the Australian Grand Prix, and we're working on a project for the MotoGP for them, and the Better Living Group, which is a group of builders, and they've presented us with some fantastic projects that our students actually get to work on live, and they get to present their ideas and recommendations to the client and have the potential of having the client implement those ideas and recommendations into their business. Thank you, Nick. Next slide, please. Okay, so some of the career outcomes once you've completed the Diploma of Business include office manager. You can go on to be a team leader. You can even go and start your own business, be a program coordinator. You'll know that every single industry has a business or an office area, so you have the potential to work across many sectors, many different companies. Thank you. Next slide, please. I think that's the last one. So thank you for that. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll now hand you over to Swati, who's going to speak to you about her program.
Thanks, Annie. Hi, everyone. I am the program manager for the Associate Degree in Business, and this is a very general business program, which is a higher ed program under the vocational education sector. So I'm going to talk to you more about this. Next slide, please, Nick. So the Associate Degree in Business will refine your professional skills and knowledge in a real and simulated business environment. What this program does for you is gives you a general idea of every aspect in business, including marketing techniques, buyer behavior techniques, business stats, macroeconomics, business information systems, design thinking, emotional intelligence, and the list goes on. You will graduate with confidence to analyze and solve the problems in this particular program and work in groups collaboratively with your other peer students and understand the basic business concepts for immediate employment outcomes or as a basis for further study into the Bachelor of Business. And the program starts in February 2022. Next slide, please, Nick. One of the main aspects of the Associate Degree in Business is, as I said, it's a higher ed program delivered under the vocational education banner. We offer our own academic support and pastoral care. So if you are a student of an associate degree in business, you would have first-hand entry into having an academic at-risk coordinator at your service. So if you were falling behind and if you were in classes and not confused about your assessments, then this academic coordinator will help you guide your learning path throughout the program. On the screen, you see some of the notes from some of our students who are studying currently in the degree, and also some of them who are overseas. The first one, Saskia, as you see, she's an international student from the associate degree program, currently sitting in Netherlands and studying from Amsterdam. And we have been able to provide her with a constant help in terms of a learning even online in an online environment. Next slide, please, Nick. This particular program, there are 16 courses in the program, and many of them and most of them have the work integrated learning. We work with many major companies and industries to provide a real life client experience. We've had clients from Zagami, which is a cars dealer. We've had Devondale come on board. We had City of Bundura, Quit Victoria from Cancer Council. This year we are working with Sanchuros, we are working with TSE, we are working with the Better Living Group, which Annie mentioned in her previous presentation as well. So these are the clients who come in and the companies who come in and provide the best of the real life client experience to the students. We also have a particular course called International Business in our final year of the 2-year program. And we do a cross-border global work integrated learning with Ireland. So we have students from Australia, we have students from Ireland, and then we work on a company together and deliver the international business plan to the company. So that's very, very exciting for the students to work on these type of projects. Next slide, please, Nick. So these are some of our global will aspects and snapshots that we have done over the last 4 or 5 years. You can see it was in 2017 to 2020. We have been to Ireland, so there is a student mobility part there when we are able to travel, of course. The Irish students come to Melbourne 1 year, and the Melbourne students go to Ireland the second year, and then we deliver the project to the client. In 2020, as you all know, due to the pandemic, we were not able to travel, but we were still able to deliver the project online, and you can see some of the happy students, smiling faces, delivering their project to the client online virtually. So that's something very, very exciting that happens in this program. Next slide, please. For the entry into this program of associate degree, there is an ATAR score. At this stage, it is 46.70. You need to be you should have finished in year 12, and there is a study score of at least 25 in English or at least 20 in English other than the EAL. You'll be ranked on your ATAR plus any adjustment factors that are needed to get entry into the program. Any student who is not a year 12 student needs to have sat the special tertiary admission test. So just be aware of that when you're applying for this program. Thanks, Nick. Next slide, please. There are several career outcomes for this program. As a graduate for the associate degree in business, you would have built skills applicable to any number of industries, including public and private sectors and small and large enterprises. If you are interested in pursuing a further study, graduates of this course are eligible for exemptions from the RMIT Bachelor of Business degrees, subject to each course's entry requirements. This is a 2-year program, and you have a direct guaranteed pathway into the Bachelor of Business, and you complete the last year of the Bachelor with higher ed. So that becomes your 3-year degree, and that's a pathway that students mostly go by. So that is something to think about when you are coming into this degree. I believe this is the last slide, and I will pass on to my colleague Nick for public relations. Thank you.
Thanks, Swati. Thanks for that introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Reynolds, and I'm the Program Manager for Public Relations, Marketing and Communications programs here at RMIT. What I've actually decided to do is to bring in our resident PR guru, one of our teaching team, Alan Grossbard, who will give you an introduction to our public relations program before handing back to me to cover our marketing communications programs. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Nick. I like the word guru. Gee whiz, you're elevating me. Welcome to public relations. If you love to interact with people, if you love to be creative, if you love to communicate, if you want to really come up with new ideas and present them in a way that clients and companies can adopt, then public relations is definitely the way you should think about. RMIT has a wonderful reputation. In fact, it's probably the best public relations in Australia, and it's been shown that over a number of years. So PR is a wonderful area to get into. You can get into tourism, you can get into fashion, you can get into governments, local governments and federal governments, you can get into media, you can get into journalism, you can get into so many different areas. And what we do in public relations is make you think about strategies, ways of working through an idea and developing the idea. We want to get, and it's done through the traditional media like the newspapers or the radio, TV, but it's also done through digital media. And we look at different ways we can improve the communication, the trends that are occurring, and it's all to do with management, having the skills and the managerial ideas to go through a process. So, you know, it is a way of allowing people to think about ideas, the community I'm talking about in the public, and then having the adaptability to change the attitudes and the behaviour. So we cover all these different types of areas in public relations. It's a one-year course for the diploma, and then you can advance to the second year, which is called the Advanced Diploma, which is also a one-year course. Of course, you can do it part-time, but it will be extended over 2 years. Next slide, please. So we don't have an 8-hour score, but we do really ask you that you need to be good in your communication, in your writing, in your way you develop your English, because that is an imperative part of that. And for those who are doing the non-year 12, what you have is at least had some experience in communications, whether in business or in public areas, public affairs, that will allow you to transition into the course. Next slide, please. So, you know, we have the ability, and what we've found out over the years is all our people who have done the advanced diploma will be offered a full-time job. We don't have a problem with employment. They all transition into the workplace, and whether it be the workplace within Australia or the workplace within Victoria or overseas, we have got a whole range of different experiences. So the advanced diploma is your next stage after your diploma, where you work with different companies. Some are overseas companies and some are within Australia. And all of this is to get you ready for work and life. It is all about you transition into becoming a public relation practitioner straight away. And as I said, all our students go straight into the workforce without any problems. Next slide, please. So what could you become? Well, there's a whole range. We could have 4 or 5 slides on this, but if I could just outline just 6 of them. One is you become an account executive. Account executive in PR for a company, for a consultancy, for a corporation, for a government. You can become a communication officer where you have a whole range. No 2 days are ever the same in public relations. You can become a promotional event coordinator, or very much so in our changing digital world, working in social media or digital media. You could become a PR officer for large corporations. And if you like working in the community, well, you can become a community development officer, whether for a non-for-profit organisation or whether it's for a community organisation. Next slide, please. So I have given you an overview. I'm going to pass it on to Nick now, who'll talk about another extension, which is marketing and communication. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Alan. Thanks for giving the students, prospective students, a view about our wonderful PR program. So now what I'm going to talk to you about is the first of our marketing programs, the Certificate 4 in Marketing Communications. Next slide. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, we're actually currently in the process of developing a new Certificate 4 in Marketing Communications program. So what you can actually feel confident knowing is that as you come into this course in semester 1 next year, that we're going to have a completely up-to-date, a completely refined marketing communications program for you that will equip you with all of the latest skills and knowledge about the marketing communications industry. We've built this program this year, and I'm certain that it's a program that will be of use and of interest to all of you. So basically the whole concept of the Certificate 4 in Marketing Communications is it's designed to introduce you to the fundamentals of marketing communication concepts and general practices within business. So some of the units that you'll cover within this program include topics that are applicable specifically to the marketing communications industry, as well as a number of more general business skills. So we cover areas like looking at consumer insights and target audience profiling, so really getting an understanding of who your customers and who the audience within the market will be. We look at media planning and buying, so planning how to advertise and looking at sort of the range of media available to you. Strategic marketing and research and business, so actually undertaking that market research and understanding the market better. Digital media applications and software. Of course, digital is everything nowadays, so we've made sure to include a suite of courses that will target digital skills. Social media marketing and advertising. So of course, it's also critical that you have an understanding of social media and you know how to make that work for you and your organisation. Creative and persuasive communications. So certainly writing and persuasive writing comes into it as well. And finally, not least, website marketing and video production. So we'll give you some opportunities really to delve into how to create a basic website that will work for you and your business. Next slide, please. So this program, it's a 6-month program. It can also be done part-time as a sort of 1-year program. We do not select on ATAR, so there's no ATAR requirement for entry into this program. However, if you need to either complete Year 12 or an equivalent, so for instance, the Australian Senior VCAL certificate, or if you have not completed your Year 12, completion of post-secondary studies such as a certificate or 6 months work experience. So we do have a number of students that have come in through the latter stream, those who haven't actually completed their Year 12 studies, but have subsequently completed other studies or worked in some capacity within the industry. So there certainly are opportunities for students who sort of fill in both of those options. Next slide, please. What we also offer for our students is some of our students do decide to leave after they've completed their Certificate 4. So for instance, if you're working for a family company, maybe your parents own a business, and you'll have, as soon as you finish the Certificate 4, you'll have some of the skills that you need to help them within that capacity. But if you have a goal of sort of going further and building your knowledge to even greater capacity, you have the option of moving from our Certificate 4 into our Diploma of Marketing Communications program as well. And this is also a new program that we've been working on developing now. There's a really strong component of work integrated learning, as my colleagues have previously discussed, where you have opportunities to work with real world clients on real world projects. So really getting out and actually getting to know people within the industry, familiarising yourself with what's required of somebody who works within the industry, and you get that all before you've even completed your qualification with us. So this diploma program focuses on further enhancing your skills by combining knowledge from advertising, marketing and PR industries. It offers intensive, unique industry-led approach to help you develop creative and business communication skills. You'll learn how to interpret market trends, design and implement creative marketing and communication strategies, including specialised media buying, media planning and social media engagement. Like with the other programs that we've introduced you to this morning, some of our graduates, you may also be eligible for exemptions from a range of the Bachelor of Business degrees, subject, of course, to meeting the entry requirements. And for more information about that, you can visit our pathway finder up on the RMIT website. Thank you for that. So I'll pass you over to, oh, sorry, just one more slide. So just the career outcomes. So, of course, the marketing qualification will give you a range of skills that really enable you to work within any role, within any industry. But some of the key roles that you may expect to get after you've completed our Certificate 4 and/or our Diploma of Marketing Communications is the Marketing or Communications Officer within either a public or a private sector organisation. So you can go out and work in industry. You could work for a government organisation as well. You can also be a media, advertising or public relations officer. So you have an opportunity to go out and work within an agency environment as well. You could become a copywriter. So if writing is your thing, that'll give you an opportunity to flex your creative skills. You can become a marketing research assistant. So if you're really genuinely passionate about research and understanding customers in the market, maybe that's a role for you. And not least, digital content consultant. So if digital is what drives you, then there's an opportunity for you to get a role after completion of our qualification. Wonderful. Thank you for listening to me and my discussion about our marketing program, and Alan about our PR program. I'll hand you over now to my colleague Doug Gourlay.
Thanks, Nick, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Doug Gourlay and I'm the Program Manager for Accounting and Finance in the College of Vocational Education. For the next few minutes at least, I'd like to talk to you about our vocational accounting and bookkeeping program offerings at RMIT. Next slide, please. The first program I'd like to highlight is the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping, which is our entry-level qualification. As this slide suggests, it is a program that can be completed in as little as one semester or half a year if you choose to study full-time. And if so, of course, that would be at our city or CBD campus. Worth pointing out that it's not necessary to enrol as a full-time student, incidentally, and we do see many students enrolling as part-time to accommodate their other commitments, for example, their work or their family situation. In the same way that we have flexibility around study loads, we also offer flexibility around our delivery mode, with options for those wanting face-to-face classes and for those who also prefer to do some study remotely or online. But the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping is very much a dual purpose qualification. For those looking for the shortest pathway to employment in this industry, this program is for you. Completion of this Certificate 4 will allow you to meet the academic requirements for registration as a BAS agent with the Tax Practitioners Board, and that gives you a certain professional status as a bookkeeper. Of course, for those with ambitions to study accounting at a higher level, completion of this qualification is just the beginning of a longer journey to your ultimate employment destination. Next slide, please. So let's have a closer look at the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping. For this qualification, there's no accounting or bookkeeping work or study background required. So your learning starts from scratch, which is a great comfort if you're completely new to accounting and bookkeeping. The major areas of study will include a coverage of financial accounting, which is the backbone of all accounting and bookkeeping work, but with ample time given to develop software skills in computerized accounting and with electronic spreadsheeting. Since many bookkeepers will look to run their own small business, often not too many years after they start working in this industry, it makes very good sense for us to give you a grounding in small business management. In fact, the whole flavour of this program is around small business, with all accounting and bookkeeping activity focusing exclusively on small business as opposed to larger corporate activity. But it's not just about what you will study in your certificate for with us. It's also about how you will study. At RMIT, you'll undertake your studies in our certificate for as if working in a simulated accounting and bookkeeping firm, what we like to call our practice firm. This methodology does promote a greater sense of realism about what you are learning and is, we genuinely believe, the best way to prepare you for the world of work. Next slide, please. As far as our entry requirements are concerned, I just need to clarify one point for you. The Certificate 4 program is a nationally recognised qualification, and there are, strictly speaking, no entry requirements, but we do have what we might better refer to as RMIT selection criteria, and they are shown on this slide. For those of you currently undertaking a Year 12 course of study, or may have recently completed a Year 12, there is no ATAR requirement for this program. So a completed Year 12, regardless of ATAR score, would enable you to gain a place in this program. For those of you not wishing to rely on a completed Year 12, you can still be offered a place in this certificate for in accounting and bookkeeping if you have completed some post-Year 12 studies, maybe you've done some higher education studies, or perhaps you've had a minimum of 6 months worth of work experience. So there are alternative means of gaining access to this program regardless of your more recent background. Next slide, please. Now to the issue of study pathways in accounting and bookkeeping. I did say that the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping is an entry-level program, and graduates of the Certificate 4 are eligible to continue their studies in our Diploma of Accounting. Our Diploma of Accounting is another one-semester program if undertaken full-time, but much like the Certificate 4 in Accounting and Bookkeeping, students are most welcome to enrol part-time and spread their studies over a longer period of time as they wish. The Diploma of Accounting is very different in its emphasis to the Certificate 4, and students enrolling in this program are more likely to pursue a career in accounting in a corporate environment, for example, in a large CBD accounting firm, although some may still ultimately work in a small business environment, such as a suburban accounting and or bookkeeping firm. This is a pivotal accounting qualification because the units of study that you undertake will expose you for the very first time to a range of different accounting specialisations, such as financial management, cost and management accounting, taxation, auditing, and corporate financial accounting. But this program also has a strong emphasis on ethical leadership, which is vital for any aspiring accounting professional. By the way, do graduates of the Diploma of Accounting generally go looking for accounting jobs immediately after they graduate, thereby ceasing their accounting studies at RMIT? Well, the answer is no. That would be very uncommon. Almost all diploma graduates will continue their studies with us before seeking full-time work. In fact, having completed the Diploma of Accounting, you'll have automatically met the entry requirements for the Advanced Diploma of Accounting, which is a one-year full-time program at RMIT, which, of course, can also be undertaken part-time, just like with our Certificate 4 and Diploma. The Advanced Diploma is the highest level vocational accounting qualification available, and if you completed at RMIT, then you will have already met the academic requirements for registration as a tax agent with the Tax Practitioners Board, which is a real bonus for those wishing to work as tax accountants. The Advanced Diploma is also notable for the practical placement opportunity it offers you in your final semester of study. With all of our programs focusing on delivering real-world skills in a simulated business environment, there is no better way to finish your vocational accounting and bookkeeping studies with us than to go out in the industry and experience it firsthand in your placement. But again, do graduates of the Advanced Diploma of Accounting generally go straight out to work immediately afterwards? Again, the answer is no. It would be fairly uncommon. Most Advanced Diploma graduates will continue their studies in a Bachelor of Business degree, and they will reap the benefits of an excellent credit arrangement by virtue of having studied the Certificate 4, Diploma and Advanced Diploma at RMIT. In fact, under current arrangements, students articulating from our Advanced Diploma of Accounting to a Bachelor of Business at RMIT are entitled to up to 2 years worth of credits in that bachelor's degree for the 2 years of full-time study done in our vocational accounting and bookkeeping programs. Won't get a better credit arrangement than that anywhere. Next slide, please. So, if you are thinking of studying accounting and bookkeeping at RMIT, what career or job outcomes might you expect? Well, for graduates of our Certificate 4, you may be looking to work as a BAS agent or professional bookkeeper, and if so, you will be perfectly qualified to do just that. Some graduates of Certificate 4 may seek work as a payroll officer. Others may look to work in accounts payable or receivable. And again, you would be very well qualified to do that. Diploma graduates may look to work as an assistant accountant, whereas perhaps advanced diploma graduates may choose to seek work as a tax agent or tax accountant. Advanced diploma graduates looking to work in other more corporate roles, shall we say, will be well served by articulating to the Bachelor of Business at RMIT. No matter what your career ambition is when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping, RMIT is a great place to start your studies. We look forward to seeing you here with us in 2022 and beyond. Thanks for giving me your full attention. Now I'd like to hand you back to my Associate Director, Julia Macon, to continue our Open Day presentation. Thanks once again.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you to all our attendees. This year's been quite a year of innovation within the cluster of business and enterprise. And in addition to the programs we talked about earlier, we are also introducing 2 new programs to our product suite. That is a Certificate 4 in Project Management Practice and a Diploma Project Management Practice. Diploma Project Management. We've recognised the need for students to come out of their studies with sound project management skills, and these programs allow that. Moving on to the next slide. And unfortunately, because we have Open Day has been run remotely, we haven't been able to showcase and highlight our facilities that we have within Building 80 at RMIT Cities campus. The business and enterprise cluster for our programs use practice firm methodology. So what we mean by that is that we have facilities in place that are actually being designed to simulate what a workplace environment would be like. So whether it be an accounting firm, an advertising agency, or a traditional business office, it gives students that real life experience to actually know what it's like in those facilities. We also have a range of collaborative learning environments where students can collaborate outside of classes as well. And being right in the heart of the city, there's a range of amenities and located around the area. And in addition, you would have seen at the start in the video that Annie showed during her Diploma of Business presentation that we also have a range of sport and recreation facilities, including basketball courts as well. So we're very much looking forward to 2022 and pending COVID restrictions, implementing what is known as a blended learning model. So depending on the program, there will be time on campus and then also some of the studies completed online as well. Moving on to the next slide. So yes, we're at the end of August, moving into September, which is obviously getting to a busy time in relation to applications and deciding on what programs to apply for. When it comes to your studies at RMIT next year, our vocational education semester starts on the 7th of February 2022. If you're studying the Associate Degree of Business, which is what my colleague Swati was presenting on, that starts 4 weeks later. And then our semester 2 starts on the 4th of July 2022. So Depending on which program you'll be studying, it's generally 2 to 3 days of study per week, and with some of that being online, some of that being offline, because we're really aware, and that's been heightened and shown this year, that that work-life balance is really important. So giving you the opportunity to work as well as you study, and also enjoy your life too. So what I thought I'd do now, there's been quite a few questions in the Q&A, and I'd like to say thank you so much for posing those questions. What we love about this is having the interaction with attendees. So what I thought I'd do is I'd open up a question, the first question, which was asked earlier, which was in relation to what is the difference between public relations and marketing. So I thought I'd open up to Nick Reynolds, Program Manager, Marketing, Comms and PR, and Alan Grossbard, who's our PR guru teacher, to answer this question.
Thank you, Julia, and thanks for the question. So, I mean, I guess my background, my industry background is in marketing. So I'll sort of speak to the elements of marketing, and then Alan can sort of touch on the differences between that and PR. So marketing is, I think it's a very creative, it's a very broad industry. I mean, you ask many people what is marketing, and they'll give you 100 different definitions of what actually marketing constitutes. But essentially what we've tried to do with our marketing program is to introduce you to a broad variety of different areas of marketing. So you've got social media, you've got digital media, you've got web design, you've got advertising. So we try and cover a really broad variety of different elements of the marketing, and that, I think, in the way that's quite general and gives you introduction to a lot of things, that's a little bit different from our program of public relations, which is, I think, much more focused. But I'll let Alan talk to that.
Thanks, Nick. If I can be game enough and say marketing is all about promoting and selling a product. In public relations, we actually don't go selling products or services. What we do is we find channels of information and let people make their own decision. So we need to deal with clients, and we need to deal with the media, we need to deal with the public in general, and let them make that decision. We don't go advertising and try to push a product or a service. We try to work out what is the best way of communicating information. Now, one of the issues is all about brand and awareness of what companies do. And many companies go through what we call a crisis. Something happens in that company and you read it in the newspapers all the time. And we as PR people need to go into that company and say, how can we resolve this problem or this issue so that it can be better communicated? You know, we see this every day with the COVID issues. We need to be communicating in a way to make people aware about all the alternatives there are in the COVID environment. So we measure our success by the amount of positive media we get, the amount of way people change their behaviour by changing their attitudes. And it's all about the way we communicate, whether it be social media, whether it be digital media, whether it be dealing with the traditional media, as I said, TV, radio or press. This is what we do in communications, in public relations.
Thank you so much, Alan. I really appreciate you answering the question with such passion and enthusiasm, and also for your input too, Nick. I'd like to just move on to Annie Barry. There was a question before in the chat about entrepreneurial subjects to start their own business. And I thought this was a good opportunity to talk more about the Diploma of Business and how it gets students ready for work and life.
Sure, thanks, Julia. That's a really good question. So I I guess an entrepreneur is anyone who takes a risk with the goal of making a profit. So that's what they want to do, really start their own business and start running it. And before you can begin your own business, you need to have knowledge about how to manage that. So understand how to manage budgets and finances, for example, or understand who your audience is so that you know to set a target market and how to communicate with them. Understand who your customers are and what their needs are. And start to plan a marketing strategy or a social media campaign to aim at those set of customers that you've just determined. And how to recognise the risks associated with running a business. So all sorts of risks that can affect you, whether it's the political environment that we are in, whether it's the economy of the country, or whether it's the COVID pandemic that we're living through, and how to survive through that. And to create a business plan that lays out all of these objectives. So to be able to do that, you need to have that skill and knowledge. So that's where the Diploma of Business that we run at RMIT is really helpful. So the type of courses that we offer in the Diploma of Business are things like manage budgets and financial plans, which will help you know how to manage your finances, prepare BAS statements, etc. Manage business resources. So what resources do you need to start a business? So it's not just about the computers and the desks and everything else. You need to have money. You need to have people. So how many people do you need to hire? How do you go about hiring them? So recognizing what those resources are. Other courses that we run include identify and evaluate marketing opportunities. So being able to know when a marketing opportunity arises and how to make the best use of that. Develop social media engagement plans. So it's easy to say, I know how to use social media, but how do you create a plan that hits the right target market at the right time and is the most effective? So the Diploma of Business will teach you those skills, the theory, the knowledge behind it, and then gets you to put it into practice. We look at lead communication in the workplace. So we look at internal, external people that you deal with. How do you communicate with your own people? And is that different to your external customers? So we teach you those skills and the knowledge that you need to perform those communication tasks as well. And a very important one, manage organisational customer service. That again looks at internal, external customers, and you need to know the difference between the two. You need to know who your stakeholders are and how to effectively communicate with them. What's the right message? What are their issues? How do you identify them? How do you improve your customer service? We also look at sustainability in a workplace. So how to become a more sustainable business? What are your opportunities to be a greener business? How do you save on those resources? We're all looking at becoming a greener society, looking at reducing our carbon footprint, not just as individual, but how can your organisation contribute to being a green organisation? And how to recognise a lot of the risks. So we teach you the major categories of risks, such as financial risk, political risk. We look at the macro and the micro environment. We teach you what a pestle analysis is, so that you look at the economical environment, the legal environment, the technological environment, and recognise the risks associated with those, so that you can have a plan in place to deal with them as they arise and to have a successful business. So thank you.
Thank you, Annie. There was a question in the chat also in relation to internships, and I thought I'd get my colleague Swati Dave to talk about how work integration is taught within the associate degree. And then after Swati, I thought, Doug, you might be able to share your perspective of how placements are handled in the Advanced Diploma of Accounting.
Thanks, Julia. Really exciting parts of work integrating learning that happen in the associate degree in business. So just to give you all a perspective, we do have real clients involved. So as I mentioned earlier, we have TAC that we are working on. In this semester, we had San Churros last semester that we worked on. as part of the internship, what happens is when we are working with these clients closely throughout the semester, when the students are presenting their marketing plan or they are presenting their buyer behavior aspects to the client or the international business aspects to the client, the clients do tend to pick students who they would like to provide internship to. So just as an example, last year we had one of the Shark Tank companies called Bacon Salt, who was on board with us to provide this case studies to the students, and we were able to offer 2 to 4 weeks of internship to these students to work with that Shark Tank company. So, these are the aspects that do happen within the program. And since we are using and since we are utilizing so many medium to larger enterprise companies, we had Devondale, and Devondale offered internship to the students as well while we were working on their project. So these are the exciting stuff that happens within the program. So you just have to keep an eye and your ear open really when you're working on this work integrated learning during the 2-year process of that program. Thanks.
Thank you, Swati. Doug, is there something you'd like to share from your perspective in relation to the accounting programs?
Yes, there is. Thanks, Julia. I think it's probably best to set the scene for how we develop our learning through the 3 levels of accounting programs: Certificate 4, then Diploma and Advanced Diploma. And I did mention earlier in my presentation that we use a practice firm approach whereby we deliver skills and knowledge through a simulated business firm, if you like, an accounting and bookkeeping firm. But then when we get to the Advanced Diploma and the students have got a well-rounded grasp of the whole accounting industry, if you like, and the various different types of job roles that one might experience in that industry, by this stage, they're now in their final semester, so they've done at least 1.5 years of full-time study. It's time to actually get out there and do some work via a practical placement. Now, one of the things that's really important for us when we administer the practical placements is that we do not find the placements for the students. So one of the skills that we really like to develop with our students is that sense of independence, if you like, and initiative that sees you actually getting the placement for yourself. Because when you finish a program of study, be it an advanced diploma or perhaps subsequently a bachelor degree program, ultimately you're going to have to find your own work. So it's not just the experience of actually being in the workplace, which admittedly is very important in its own right. We understand that, you know, it's connected to a unit on financial systems, so that when the students are actually in an accounting firm, they're basically getting to experience all the things around a financial system that they've been learning for the preceding 1.5 years. But what we think is really important is for us to support you as prospective students to develop the skills so you've got the confidence post the placement, if you like, to go out and find real work. And we think that really adds value to it. Yes, we could find a placement for you, but I think if we did that, we'd be actually robbing you of some extra skills that we think that you do need to get out and find a real job. Thanks, Julia.
Thank you, Doug. And Alan, I thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk about the way that internships are handled in the PR.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. We offer internship, it's in your advanced diploma within the nation, within Australia, but overseas. And before the COVID, 11 of our students went overseas to different countries to experience internship programs, or work placement, we call them. Last year we couldn't do that because of COVID, so every student did a global internship, and it's great for your CV to be able to say I worked in America, or I worked for a company in England or in Germany or in South Africa or wherever it may be. So we do offer, through our connections, we offer that global experience. Thanks, Julia, for letting me say that.
Thank you, Alan. I know it's unique to your program, so it's very important to highlight it. Our final question before we conclude is an awesome question that's been has been asked, what are your most successful graduates? Has anyone gone on to build a successful career in business? I'll open this up to Nick first and then ask Swati as well.
Thanks, Julia. So it's a great question, and of course, getting a job and becoming successful is why we all pursue our studies in the first place. And I have a positive answer to that question. Yes, the vast majority of our students do go out to become quite successful. All of our teachers could provide you with an extensive list of their previous students over the years who have studied with us and have subsequently gone on, some of them now as sort of marketing directors, some of them in very senior roles within their respective organisations. So certainly there are many people who have started off their pathway of study with us. Either they've exited after the completion of their qualifications with us and gone on to the working world, some who have also gone on to do higher education study, but there are many individuals who have studied with us who have become very successful in their careers, whether it be in PR, whether it be in marketing, or whether within a more generalist business role. One of the real advantages of our programs are these sort of work integrated learning projects that we have, where you do deal with real world clients. And we have some clients that have been with us for many years and have actually hired a number of students direct out of our qualifications. So as part of the WIL projects that these students actually undertake, they'll do client presentations. And the winners of those client presentations often actually get offered opportunities with those very same clients after the completion of their qualifications. So there, I mean, without promising specific jobs to you, there are certainly opportunities that do come, and the students that put their all into these projects very much come out of those out of the qualifications, out of their time with us, with real opportunities for work. So I can mention specifically one of the clients. So we've got a client called Taguchi Marketing, and we've had a number of students in recent years. I think it was 5 or 6 from our most recent batch of students who actually went on to get a position with Taguchi Marketing. And they're not the only example. There are numerous other examples of organisations that have hired our students through our strong relationship, because those clients know that our students have received the skills and knowledge that they need to succeed. They've seen them in action, they've seen them produce and meet those client briefs that they've been provided with, and they couldn't think of anywhere better to get their students from. So yes, if you are a student and you study our marketing and PR programs with us, there is a very good chance that you will get out and you will be work ready. And if you impress within the time with us, you may even get another job opportunity from one of our client organisations as well.
Thank you, Nick. Just with 1 minute to go, Swati, was there anything you'd like to add? Because you mentioned a particular student in the chat about our graduates.
That's right. So it's a really great question as to what our students do. And I did mention the name. Generally, I wouldn't. But this particular student, and if you go up on LinkedIn or Google him, he is a past alumni of RMIT, and I've been proud that I have taught him when he was studying at RMIT. And this particular student ended up starting his own business from his dad's garage. Buying stuff from China, selling it on eBay. And if you look at his credentials now, he's the founder and the managing director of eStore Logistics. So yes, students do tend to do that with all the studies that they've done within the program and within associate degree in business as well. One of the student that I wouldn't name names, but he is a founder of another company and passed through the associate degree in business, gone to the Bachelor of Business, done his marketing, and then on the side, he started a business. There is another student so there are students who start their businesses. I know there was a question on entrepreneurship as well. Just as a sideline, I guess, there are pathways into every Bachelor of Business degrees. So either you go out into the workplace or go into a bachelor's degree. all the programs, whether you go to PR or whether you go to marketing or whether you come to associate degree in business, we prepare you for that work-life aspect. We make you work ready, so you are able, with all this immense work integrated learning and global work integrated learning, to put it on your resume and be able to showcase what you have done with the clients. And this, as Nick was saying, this gets you a foot into the door into any industry. But please do have a look at eStore Logistics, because that's one of our proud student who has gone ahead and made a big mark for himself. But there are so many that we can name. So you would be in very good hands if you were to come to our programs.
Thank you.
That's all from me. Thank you.
And with that, it's sad to say goodbye, but our session is now over. I'd like to thank all our presenters and for the questions that you've asked us as part of today's session, and hope to see you soon at RMIT. At 2 p.m, there is a general information session on Bachelor Business as well at RMIT. So thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.